You know what? I feel really good. It's good to see you. Hey, I got to ask you a question here.
Yeah.
First of all, if you don't know, you're on the Xtemporize podcast. We've got an incredible guest that's right across from us, and yes, I am still looking for sponsorship from Lagunitas beer company.
I'm looking for sponsorship from Harmless Harvest Coconut Water.
Is that what it is? Okay, well, just put it out there. You know, it's like throwing shit up against the fan. Whatever sticks, it works. You know.
I can sing praises for this. So,
yeah.
If you don't like coconut water, you will like Harmless Harvest. If you don't like it, a lot of people don't like coconut water. It varies so much in its taste.
Pour a little bit in that cap. I'm going to give you that. This is on the heels of it.
Seriously, this is
beer. Okay. I want to see how this shit's going to go right now.
Can I tell you that this is actually a little too sweet for me, so I always water it down.
I just had a Lagunitas beer. Did you hear that, Lagunitas company? And I'm now having...
He's taking a cap shot of Harmless Harvest.
Harmless Harvest coconut water. Oh, no, that's no good.
Oh, you need more.
No, that's no, that was more than enough.
You didn't like it?
Okay, Harmless, whatever they were. No, it's fine. Absolutely.
Seriously, you didn't like it?
Well, it's like having orange juice after you brush your teeth. Have you ever had that? You know when you brush your teeth and it
tastes nothing like
mystery guest is nodding his head.
Did you just brush your teeth?
Yeah, a little while ago.
Okay, but beer is okay.
Well, I think it killed everything and then it hit my tongue. So
oh my God, your palate must be
yes, it's a sensitive palate.
Tiny.
I'm a cancer, so you're a sensitive person, you're an artist, and you also have sensitive palates. But before we get to our guest here, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do I get, because she, mysterious guest, she gives me shit all the time about not making a physical phone call. Just texting, because I'm with the modern times.
He called me the other day. It was like rare.
Okay. And I called. She didn't answer. So
I was at work.
Do I get credit for the?
You do.
I get credit for the call?
You get credit. I just don't know what kind of credit I'm going to give you.
No, I want full credit because I called. Okay. If you don't answer, that's on you. I was calling you to let you know that across from us, and he's here right now, is incredible Jason Stewart.
You texted me after that, and I did get that.
Only incredible guitarist. How are you doing, Jason?
Woo-hoo.
I'm good. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here, man. What did you? I was in the other room. What did you say? You've been over here a lot lately. What were you guys saying?
No, I said I've been here. I've been, next door mostly, a lot of times, and I drove past it twice.
Oh, right now tonight.
Yes.
Yes. This may be a question I'm stealing from you, Rain, but how did the whole music thing for you start? Getting back to, at what point in your life did you have that moment where you're like, oh man, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. I was very little.
Tiny guy.
Yeah.
How little were you?
Well, it kind of started when I was about 8. And what happened is this is when my parents were still married, and we had moved. We were living in Toledo, and my mom felt like, I'm just stuck here. My kids are kind of big enough that I don't have to be, around them all the time, So she went back to school. I have no idea what she took. She was probably doing some kind of art thing, but she started hanging out with people that were, in their 20s, and she was starting to absorb all that music that was going on. And we're talking about the late 60s. So the stuff was, there was a lot of stuff going on. She started bringing home these records, Beatles, Doors, Simon and Garfunkel, Rascals, stuff like this. Well, she met some, or at least one guy that had a band, and she took me to see this band, and I was just like, oh my God, this is
your first
it.
concert, really? Yeah,
really. And it was, I don't know where it was. And these guys were playing top 40 at the time, which was Cream and Hendrix and
it's good stuff.
Vanilla Fudge, all that kind of stuff. And I became enamored with this stuff, and we would get to see them as often as possible. So it became a regular thing. And my mom's friend was the bass player, so I wanted to play the bass. So I'm like, I want to play bass. I want to do this. So of course, my dad buys me an acoustic guitar.
I want to play the bass. You got an acoustic guitar.
Here you go, son.
You didn't know the difference.
Here you go, sonny. Enjoy yourself.
Here's your bass.
And they get me to take lessons. I took 2 lessons, and it just wasn't really happening. The lessons, it wasn't really what I wanted to learn. So then music kind of became a dream more than something I was really doing.
I see.
When my parents got divorced, and we moved to California, and we moved to San Francisco, and we were in the Haight-Ashbury, and
Toledo, Haight-Ashbury,
and we
cool.
we moved into this building, this apartment building that downstairs there was a rock band, and now things are at a higher level. They're playing at the Fillmore, and they're playing at the Avalon, and these places. And I started hanging around this stuff, and this is when I started really playing. And my mom finally bought me a bass. I put it
I
down.
didn't catch that part where you decided to put it down.
It didn't take.
Yeah, it didn't really take, and the teacher wasn't great, but what happened is I met this other kid who was a year older than me at the apartment building, and he played guitar, and we kind of started playing together, and we kind of made this little band, and I didn't play bass very long. It was very very short lived, because I tried this guitar, and it was like, this is cool.
Okay.
So that started the thing, and my friend and I were playing together for a while, and then you meet other people, and it starts growing. So it all started when I was 9 or 10, when I really started playing.
Very cool.
And it's I've always had bands. Ever since then, I've always had a band doing something.
At that early of an age, you were like joining with people, and
I don't
playing
know what
together.
It sounded like,
But
Did you kill it with the women in high school?
No.
Because you were part of a band.
No.
Did you have a high school band?
I had a band during.
What was the name of that band in high school?
Had this band called Scarab.
Scarab.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we played stuff that this was all original.
Yeah.
And we played
with a name like Scarab, I know it's original.
and we played, our stuff was kind of Led Zeppelin,
Okay.
Deep Purple kind of stuff, you know.
Okay. You have pictures?
Yeah, I got.
I want to see you.
Do I have
one
pictures
day.
of Scarab? I actually.
And did you have long hair?
Oh yeah, I have really long hair.
Like down in the middle of your back kind
Yeah.
of thing? Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Did you? You weren't.
I did. No,
Yeah.
I had crazy
Yeah.
long hair.
Yeah, I have an older brother. He was a rocker too. He turned me on to rock and roll. That was like my first love.
Yeah.
But his hair was like down to his back.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that long. It was like shoulder length a little bit
Yeah,
longer.
that's great.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Thinking about like hearing you play, at Peter's improv. I was wondering who your influences were. I now, see, where your foundation is. But do you have particular people that were, really big influences in your career?
That were important to me.
That influenced your playing, influenced your love for music, love for the guitar.
That's a nice question.
Yeah.
That's a reporter style kind of question. I can see why you're good at what you do.
I'm curious. I'm just a curious
Okay,
person,
okay.
really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have a zillion questions.
You do.
You know what? That would be on my. I have questions. That would be on my gravestone.
You want that on your gravestone?
I have questions.
Okay. Is there some
No, I'm gonna be
some short
cremated.
version?
Cremated,
Yeah,
so.
I think that's the way I'm going to go too. And by the way, sorry because you haven't answered the question.
That's okay.
But I'm just going to tell you, you know me already. That shit's going to happen. A lot of
All right.
tangents, a lot of going off. But go ahead,
I'd be
answer the question.
disappointed if it didn't.
No,
So,
let's
yeah,
get into
so we
that
wanna
after.
know,
Answer that
yes.
question and then we'll get into
Okay,
that.
so let me go back a little ways and tell you a little about my dad. My dad was not a musician,
Mhm.
but my dad was a jazz connoisseur.
Ah.
He was he was friends with Wes Montgomery. They lived in Indianapolis, which is where Wes Montgomery was from. He used to see them all the time when this is before he made the big jump. But throughout my childhood, there was always jazz playing in the house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Miles Davis, Stan Getz, Dave Brubeck,
Mm-hmm.
Wes Montgomery. That stuff was just playing
Amazing.
all the time. So it was in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when my mom started bringing all this other music home, I did not want to hear my dad's stuff. It was like, I don't want to hear that crap. And I was kind of anti-jazz for a little while, till my teen years. I started rediscovering it. But in terms of influences, which is what you asked, early influences were Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, those guys. As I got older and started discovering more diverse stuff, I got into Larry Carlton and George Benson and God, there's just so many.
Yeah, there is so many
There's
greats,
many.
honestly. But so you started to be influenced by like
Did you like
soul
Lee
and-
Ritenour and all?
Yeah, Lee Ritenour. Lee Ritenour's great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Was number one, and back the first few, it was not secret.
Yeah.
We knew we knew who we were going to be playing.
Okay.
With.
Ah.
I even forgot that part.
Yeah, and at the club either we knew because you would advertise.
Ah.
Yes, at the club, I made it a point of telling everybody, who's playing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. In fact, I used to request, hey.
Yeah,
You
that's why I
requested-
stopped. That's why I
request-
stopped that shit.
oh, the
You know,
request came-
well, or
Yeah.
I don't want to play with that guy.
But
I never said that.
No, no.
Oh,
no,
but I have
I-
questions about
but
that.
I know, hey, that guy Chris Camper, I'd like to play with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, Chris Camper?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to play
He
with
knows,
Chris
he
Camper
knows, I
too.
told
And I don't
him.
even
Yeah.
play an instrument. I'd still like to play with Chris Camper.
Yeah. Well,
He's so
tell
cool.
me if you would. Yeah, you can say the way it is, really how you feel, good, bad, or whatever. The very first time in the club, in the Impulse room, when I decided to start having these improvisational things, and you came to the very first one. I don't remember who you played with. I don't know if you remember who you played
I didn't
with.
do
Was
the
it
first.
Sonny?
I didn't do the first one at the club.
No, but the first one that you did at the club.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so is it okay? Is this the? It's not a new concept, but the way we're doing it, the way I'm doing it, it was new for the club. What was your thought when I said, "Hey, come, it's all improv"? And
Yeah, you had done a few of them before I did one. And the first one, I was scared. I was like, I don't know, this is going to be.
It's a common thread, isn't it?
If it was my guys,
Yeah.
I could. I wouldn't
Yeah.
care if we had to make
know
stuff
them,
up
yeah.
because you're all communicate with each other all the time, But to be put with people I didn't know and not have any kind of
rapport, or anything.
rapport,
Yeah.
Our idea of how they played or who
Right.
they were, yeah.
right? And it was, I didn't know, I wasn't familiar with any of the guys. It was Wally and
Oh, was
George.
that, do you remember? And was it Sonny Fairley?
Yeah, it was
as well?
Sonny. Yeah,
So that's Wally Schnally, George Franklin. That's who
Yeah.
I mean by George, right? Yeah. And Sonny Fairley.
yeah,
That was a good group.
yeah.
I still looked at a few of those videos, even all these years after. Man, you guys had some killer songs, even on that
Yeah.
very first.
Yeah.
Like, you would never know that you're good at hiding your nerves.
Uh-huh.
He does
Well,
have a little bit of a stone face. Like I can't really tell.
He does look
Sometimes I'm like, you in a good mood today, Jason?
Yeah.
Remember, I get that all the time. Why
Uh-huh.
don't you sell? You need to smile. I get that all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But all the ones I did at the club, except for the big giant one,
Right.
we always did 2 nights. You'd put us on, and then we do a Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. That's
And
how it
then
started.
we do it again on Saturday.
Yeah. It's funny because I started doing it in the club because I'm like, shit, the business is slow on Wednesday anyway, right? Especially if you couple it with the Warriors doing really well at that time and
Right.
whatnot. Anytime the Warriors played, it didn't matter. They're all over at Stadium Pub and they're doing their thing. But it ended up drawing some people. Then I was like, this is really good. So even on a Wednesday where we wouldn't have many people in there and you guys are doing it, sounded good. I'm getting good content, if you will. I said, you know what, man, I'm going to put a couple of these on a Saturday. And there was times on some of these improvs on a Saturday, it was packed. The place was packed.
Yeah.
So I knew at that point in time, we always talk about when somebody realizes something. When did you want to become when's that moment that you want to be an artist? When's that moment you want to be a musician?
Mhm.
That was the moment that I said, you know what, there's something with this.
Yeah.
When I started having some of them with Jason and other people on a Saturday, and it would be packed on Saturday, and there's people cheering.
There's all these wonderful people that I've met at these things, and you got a lot of mostly regulars.
Yeah.
It's all these people that come to every one or most of them.
You got groupies.
Well, they do.
Yeah,
Not
well,
me,
they do.
They come.
Yeah,
to
But they are listeners though. They really critically listen.
And
they're not yapping and stuff like that.
no,
They are
not at all,
listening.
not at all. And then there's all the musicians that I've met and
Yeah.
developed relationships with. some of these guys, we've done other things together, you know. In fact, Kevin Kane is going to be playing 4th of July with us because
that's cool.
He's going to be subbing for Stacy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I love hearing that.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have such that impact on people too,
Well,
like connecting people with people, you know.
It does make me happy.
Yeah.
I've said I'm like a broken record. I repeat myself a lot, and because here's the thing, it's like saying the same prayer every night. You know, I even apologize to God when I'm like that. I'm sorry, I'm saying the same shit every night. You know, I started in the same way, I
God
ended in the
says, "That's
same
okay,
way.
Rain Man."
But I say it's okay. But these are the things I'm grateful for. So you know, I am again very grateful for your talents. Thank you for being such a big part of this. You really do genuinely bring a lot to this.
You really do.
You bring a lot of emotion in your play.
You know, and I appreciate the you know, all the praise that you give me. To me, sometimes I think that I played better on the first one than I feel like that COVID screwed with my chops.
Really?
You know? Yeah. Because I'm not a great practicer. But I thrive on playing with other people.
Yeah.
And that's where I get it. So when that wasn't happening as much,
I see.
I felt like I was losing stuff.
You know, we've had a lot of people,
Say
including your
that.
buddy Chris
Say
Camper, said the
same
exact
thing. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They felt
COVID
like
did
they
a number on
regressed.
musicians and artists so much. Yeah.
This is one thing, and I don't know if I told you this, but by you doing those first couple,
They say that too.
gave me an outlet, I was able to play. Otherwise, I had nothing. I was just sitting at home watching TV.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. No.
But
you
no,
know,
I do too. But that is.
I don't want to get all emotional. Go
We had a
ahead.
few people that said that. I mean,
Well,
and that is really important. That is such a great thing that he did by creating this backyard improv during that time. You took a big risk, dude.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah,
You know, there
that's
was
what
a
I'm
little
talking
bit of a
about.
risk because when we did start this, and Terry then offered that, and then I did accept his gracious offer, and then subsequently people have come on board since then. It was a little bit of a concern because we were worried. Now nothing happened, so now in retrospect, it's like, okay, what were you worried about? But at the time, we were worried about authorities.
Yeah.
Authorities coming, because you're not supposed to gather more than so many
right,
people
the
outside
yeah.
and inside. You can't do
Exactly.
this. And we're like, shit, people are gonna hear this music. I hope some cop or somebody doesn't come down the road and get Terry in trouble or something like that for happening.
And we really didn't know what the sickness was.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, next project. What am I looking forward to? This is a real thing. I'm always needing to feel like I'm looking forward to something. The next improv. Who am I going to get? Okay, let me see if Jason's free. All right, once I'm done with that, painting. What am I going to paint? I need to constantly, I look back a lot in pictures and things like that. But if I'm not creating and if I'm not organizing and if I'm not doing these things, I don't know how you feel, Jason, but I feel like I started then reflecting, maybe not in the best of ways. I'm thinking about where I should be and what I should have and what, or what I hope to have, all this kind of shit.
I get it.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I do.
Is
In
that
fact,
right?
I used to, when we used to play the Impulse Room, the next day, I had anxiety about when are we going to get back in there? Then I gotta wait a week and start plugging Peter, and I don't care if you could give me something 3 months out, but I would see, he knows. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That was such a turning point.
You're an artist.
I've learned to live in the void though.
That's interesting.
It is.
Living in the void. What does that mean?
That means that you.
I like that title. I like the way it sounds. Living in the void.
It's like the liminal space between doing and non-doing. It's like you just you flow with it. You're not doing anything. You're not creating. You're in a liminal space. You're in a space where you are learning. It's kind of like a plant that's growing underground, right? You see nothing, but it is developing.
So, and correct me where I'm wrong because I'm sure I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But so you're saying that if you're not writing, and if you're at home, and you're not planning or organizing.
Not scheming or planning or.
Well, scheming's got a negative connotation. It's like
Well,
we're
we
trying
do-
to take advantage
No,
of somebody.
Well, we
and
do
shit. I don't-
scheme. We do scheme our lot. It is scheming is just like, oh, what do I want to do with this? What do I want to do with that?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't scheming sound a little bit more like conniving?
Okay. All right.
Something like that?
Doesn't mean conniving for me. But go ahead.
All right.
So
Well, no,
good.
but so you're saying you're content in that void?
I'm content in the
space.
present moment, like making myself a beautiful meal, having a cup of tea, getting the sun on my
Appreciating
face,
a little.
looking at the
I get it.
beauty of the earth without
Yeah.
anything happening. Yeah.
I love standing outside
Yeah.
and having the sun.
Yeah.
When you're in those
Those
periods,
periods. They
Are-
can be very difficult sometimes.
are you creating in your head?
I'm not
You're not planning the next.
I'm not. I'm waiting, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a waiting period. And I trust life enough to know, and I've had enough of those to know that there's always a renaissance afterwards. Something always comes out of it, growth. It's just like spring, winter and spring. You're in a
Interesting.
dormant state, and it's okay. I think
She went to the trouble of showing a picture of the musicians that were playing, and I created a name for the band that was playing that night. I didn't ask these guys. I mean, they
Just called
don't
them
give a
something.
shit. I called them this, and they're like, "But this for the one night."
The
Go ahead,
Funky
Jason.
River Band.
What I used to say is that because he didn't have a name the first night we
Yeah.
played, and I always told the guys, if he names us, we're playing Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
And he would name it. I said, all right, we got it.
Well, see, I didn't even know that. I love talking to her. I did. But I think, if my memory serves correct,
I love
this whole cacti thing.
Mhm.
I think you played with one. I forget everybody, but I think one of them was with Noel Couture
Yeah.
on saxophone,
yeah.
and it was called Genii.
Yeah.
That was the plural for genius.
Oh, okay.
Multiple geniuses is genii.
Uh-huh.
That was a great one
Yeah,
too.
Noel's cool. Yeah.
I've got the audio for all the ones that I did.
Do you have one that stands out more than another? I know it's kind of tough because you've done so many.
I haven't listened to them.
So you don't ever listen to the ones that I record when everybody's waiting? It's on YouTube.
I usually will listen to them once.
That's
And then-
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's I don't listen to myself a whole lot.
That's
We
interesting.
hear some musicians that say
Well, I do
that,
the
and
same
don't-
thing. I don't listen to like my podcasts or anything.
I'm
like
totally the opposite. I'll listen to
Yeah.
that shit 1,000 times.
Yeah, I don't. But I do listen to the
Why is that?
recordings,
Because you're
the music.
overcritical of yourself.
Well, that's part of it. Because I hear every mistake I made or everything I was trying that didn't happen
In your mind.
in my mind.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we-
I think that's very common with
I do.
musicians.
Yeah.
It's common, but like so are headaches.
Later,
What's her name?
Dorothy Rossi. Lost her 2021. I can't even remember. 2 years ago, I think. Almost 3 years ago. She was. My mom was pretty amazing. She took it on herself to leave her husband and run off with 2 small kids and go all the way across country and try to make it in San Francisco and did a lot of odd jobs, trying to support us, My dad gave us money, but not a lot, so it was tough, for a while. But she always supported creativity, no matter what it was, because she understood it.
Yeah.
She got it. She knew. And towards the end of her life, when she had some health things, and she couldn't live by herself anymore. And I had her at a place that was, and she couldn't paint, and she kept telling me, what if you couldn't play your music? And I said, Mom, I get it. I said, if there was anything I could do, I would do it, But anyway, she painted a lot of big paintings.
Oh, I love big paintings. I love big work.
And let me just interject for a second.
Yeah. You know his mom's work?
I don't know his mom's work,
Okay.
but I remember Jason for a long time talking about his mom as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed enough that when she passed, Jason was kind enough that he gave me, and I have over here now, a lot of the brushes she
Oh,
had,
wow.
a lot of the paints that I used.
Oh no.
So
that's
right
so
here in my
sweet.
closet, I have a
Yeah.
lot of
That
the
is
things
so
that his
sweet.
mom had left behind. And he said, I know Peter, he's an artist.
Yeah.
And he may be able to use those.
Jason, that is so sweet. And
So I still have
thoughtful.
now all your mom's brushes.
Yeah, well, that was what I thought when we were clearing out her stuff, and I
Yeah.
said, you know, I want this stuff to get
used.
and
Yeah,
she would want
utilized.
that too.
Definitely.
You know,
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
man. I
it's
appreciate it. I
beautiful.
did some incredible pieces
Yeah.
with some of that stuff. So yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah. So
And then she had
cool.
left a little something behind, and I think
Yeah,
I found it
yeah.
and handed it to you.
Now, what I'm going to do with all her paintings, I don't know.
Well, right. That's why I don't paint.
And my mom, I always suspected that my mom, it's almost like she was afraid of success. It's like she didn't want, you know, because doing shows were always an issue. You know, she would do a show, and then she would start getting this following, and she's like, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Give her anxiety.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have when I create, I have anxiety also.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Like because you don't know where you're going. Like you have a plan, but you know it always takes a different turn. So you have to like traverse the unknown in there. You know, even though you don't know what is gonna. You have an idea, but you don't know how that's gonna actually, unfold.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of anxiety.
What's your medium?
Writing mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My son is a writer.
Well,
Right now he does technical writing, but
Yeah.
but he's
well, writing's writing.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah.
you got to create something from
Yeah.
nothing. Do you guys ever feel that way?
right.
Yeah.
Well, I have the same scenario happen to me all the time when I'm writing a song,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm writing it in my head. I'm hearing this thing, or maybe I've played this one little pattern or something that's got me thinking of a whole thing. And I'll start putting it together. Maybe I'm recording a demo or what have you, and it never fails. What I end up with is totally different
This is what I'm talking about.
than
Yeah.
what I had in my head.
Exactly.